Don Albury?
Speaking?
Yeah, this is Terry Arbegust.
Yes.
So you're familiar with the term Foo Fighter?
I'm not familiar with that term, but
Okay. In this book I got by Martin Caden, it talks about that flight called the Black Thursday over Schweinfurt, or Germany, and there was like these little silver discs, several of them that flew towards the planes, and they were in formation. Nobody knew what they were. It was a top secret memorandum. He lists the memorandum, and at the end of the war, when the Allies looked at Japan and Germany's records, the Germans and the Japanese had also seen them, and they thought that was the Allied secret weapon. So everybody was seeing them. Had you ever saw anything like that?
no, I've never.
Okay. And then there's this other story when you get into the 509 about this Roswell crash disk. Have you ever heard about that?
Roswell crash test.
Yeah, that flying saucer crash.
I've seen that on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. I've talked to a few individuals about that. I talked to a CIC. I tried to get a hold of him, but by the time I got through to him, he had died. But his wife said, and he's in this book, her husband is, and I got a VHS tape from Washington D.C. It's a UFO tape, and he's on there testifying along with Jesse Marcel, who was the OIC at Roswell, and he went out and picked the stuff up, and he said it was something extraterrestrial. But as far as I'm not necessarily a buyer of that theory at all. I was thinking it's just some sort of rigged diversion because they knew there was Russian spies out there, or maybe something crashed and they rigged this diversion because there was this UFO wave that was going on 47. So it was a diversion or distraction.
No, I've never seen anything UFOs. The only time I did see something that they said were UFOs, visiting some friends down in Mexico City, and all I saw was lights, lights, one big light, and then all of a sudden you see some small lights come and go into that light, and all of a sudden you see some lights come up and just take off across the sky. That's the only thing I've ever seen. But that was from the ground.
Well, where was that at?
In Mexico City.
In Mexico? Yeah, I've heard of some activity in Mexico City.
Yeah, about a few years ago.
Oh, it was just a few years ago?
About a few years ago.
Oh, can you remember the year? Was it in the 40s?
Gosh. Let me think.
Okay.
I was flying with Eastern Airlines at the time, and those friends, Mexican friends of mine. It must have been, let's see, maybe in the early 60s.
Early 60s?
Yeah. And everybody saw, my gosh, it's car after car after car. Out there, people standing out there.
Oh, and you were on the ground.
Yes.
Was it daylight?
What's that?
Was it daylight?
No, it was at night.
It was at night?
Yes.
Was there initially when you first saw what you saw, was it one stationary light and then you saw several emerge from it or go back?
Very large white light.
White?
White, it was white.
Circular?
Round ball, yes. And,
Can you give me an idea of the number of degrees from the horizon?
I'd say maybe, I'm trying to think, it's mountains in that particular area there. From where we were standing, it might have been about 50 degrees.
That's not very high up off the horizon.
I'd say 50 to 60 degrees, something like take it from,
Okay.
80. But then some smaller lights would come out of it and just take off, maybe 2 or 3 at a time, and just take off with terrific speeds. Then they would come back in, and they'd go back up in this large light.
Did they do those, I've heard of these right angle turn type of things?
That's true.
acceleration? In other words, when they emerged, did they merge at the same rate of speed through the entire duration of their trajectory?
Very rapid, I mean, terrific speeds until they got to this large light and they flew into it.
How many times did they emerge and then go back inside?
I'd say 10 or 15 times. I didn't sit there, yeah. As long as we were there. And they've been doing that before we got there. They've been doing that before.
When you got there, were you coming from the United States? And you mean, how did you arrive in Mexico City? Is what I mean.
I was flying with Eastern Airlines.
Oh, I see. Oh, you were a pilot for Eastern Airlines.
That's right.
Okay, and that's...
We had a layover down there, and I went to visit these friends. They took us out there. They had the reports out there, so they took us up to see it.
How long were they there before you got there?
I haven't sliced out here.
Okay, how long did you watch them for?
We watched them about, I'd say, 45 minutes an hour.
45 minutes to an hour? And when you finally left, was it because you had to fly your plane and they were...
It was getting late, so we decided to come back home. But this had been going on continuously.
Were they still there when you left?
When we left, yes.
Was there police and all kinds of people there?
There were a lot of people there. I don't notice any police or anything.
Okay, so in reference to the size of the moon, when you see it in the sky...
It's about the size of the full moon.
You're kidding me. The size of the full moon? And okay. And then when the little ones came out, do you remember how many little ones?
Oh, there was quite a few.
5, 6, 10, 15, 20?
They'd come out maybe 2, 3, 4 at a time.
And then they'd stay out for a little while, and they would do these incredible acrobatics.
They would just race across at incredible speeds. I mean, I even estimate the speed they were doing.
Can you estimate, like, the extremes of how far they would go away before they turn around and come back?
Completely out of sight.
Over the horizon, just gone, and then they come... And then they would emerge, like could you see if there was any kind of aperture?
They would come in very rapidly, and when they got, they would come down below this large light and then slowly go up into it.
Oh, slowly? Oh, so they come back at extreme rate of speed and then almost stop on a dime.
That's right.
And then they would slowly go up inside.
That's right.
So did they go up on? When they went inside? Did they go under, up, in?
Under, yes.
Okay. Okay. And did the lights ever change color when they were accelerating?
No, not that I can remember.
Okay. Was there any official explanation for this?
No, I never heard of any. I don't read Spanish, so they said it was in the papers.
Yeah, see, I followed this stuff pretty closely, and I saw I believe it was this program called Sightings on 47 that they did in 1990 or 91 or 92 even, or it was recent. Yeah, this is true. No, they were showing all these UFOs above Mexico City. Yeah, it was July, I believe it was July 16th, 1991. Yeah, so there's this reoccurrence of this phenomena.
I'm trying to think, trying to get the date right. I was still a co-pilot, was flying a DC-8 down there, so that must have been at least maybe 6 or 8 years, and so it had to be in the late 50s, early 60s.
Late 50s, early 60s. Have you ever told anybody else this story before?
Oh, I've told my family.
Oh, and that's all. See, the reason I ask is because I got a couple of books here. One's called UFO Crash at Roswell. That's a very interesting story. And then there's another book called Crash at Corona, and it's written by Stanton T. Friedman, and the other one's written by Kevin Randall and Donald Schmidt. And they both studied this Roswell story. It's very well done, and they do a lot of research. I mean, it's meticulous. And Fred O'Leary said that Stanton Friedman had called him, and O'Leary's got the book UFO Crash at Roswell. But had anybody ever called you and talked to you about this before? Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting.
Well, I had seen that thing on TV. I forget the name of the program.
Yeah, Unsolved Mysteries and Sightings, bro.
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Paul Schenchar, who was a radar man on Dave's Dream, on that Crossroads bombing on Abel Gilda. He told me that Woody Swanka and him and a pickup co-pilot were headed up to Kirtland once, and then they landed up there, and then Woody went in to do business, and then Schenchar and the co-pilot looked up in the sky, and they saw these silver discs zipping around and doing the same behavior. And then when I asked Woody, he said he didn't know anything about it. Nobody told him, or he couldn't recall. That's what he said. And then another man who was a armaments man, he loaded A-bombs at Roswell, Elmer Touche. He told me another story about going to Kirtland and seeing 6 of these things emerge out of this, like what you're talking about. And in both cases, they radioed up to the tower, and the tower said that they were watching them. So I don't know what to make of this.
I don't know. All I know is what I saw.
Okay.
A lot of Mexicans saw it, too.
Okay, well, geez, I appreciate you spending the time talking to me.
Okay. What'd you say your name was?
My name is Terry Arbegust, Arbegust.
Okay.
And I guess I'll let you go, and then
Okay.
I appreciate you talking to me, and then I'll send those out, the photocopies then.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye, sir. Have you ever heard of this Roswell, this story of this Roswell Flying Saucer crash? Do you have?
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I don't believe it.
You got to. Okay, so that's your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now here's something that's interesting in reference to Don Albury.
Yeah.
I always ask everybody if they had seen any kind of UFOs or anything like that, because I've read about those Foo Fighters I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And Don said that when he was an Eastern Airlines pilot, when he landed in Mexico City, that he saw there was this large light on the horizon, about 45 degrees off the horizon, and there were several little ones that were coming out of it and shooting across the horizon at incredible speeds, and then they'd come back, and then they'd enter the bottom of the large white object very slowly, and then a little bit later some more would come out and they'd shoot across the horizon at incredible speeds, and then this went on for about an hour. And he said that there was a lot of Mexicans, hundreds of them, that were there watching it, so he wasn't the only person. That's a strange story.
Well,
from a dead man, I mean.
Yes, it would be.
Yeah.
I'm amused by the way you put it.
Well,
it's quite a story from a dead man. Okay, no, I don't know. There's people have seen all kinds of things. People have imagined they've seen things, and I wouldn't deny that such a thing has ever been done at all, because, gosh, there's too many things that have happened to make you think that, we're not the only ones in the universe.
Did you know a Mr. Chester Lytle? Had you ever heard of his name?
Chester what?
Chester Lytle.
L-I-B-L-E?
L-Y-T-L-E?
No, I never heard that one. I don't think I did.
Okay. He was one of the men that developed the radio codes for the firing mechanism on Little Boy. He's meant...
I wouldn't necessarily have any reason to know that guy, because he belonged to the Manhattan District.
Right. Okay. And see, and the reason I'm asking you that was because in this book that I got, it's called UFO Crash at Roswell. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Well, I've heard about it, yeah.
Okay, it's by
Butch Blanchard was mixed up in that somewhere.
Yeah, and they tried to claim that it was a weather balloon.
Well, as soon as I read about Butch Blanchard's name being associated with it, I closed the book. I forgot it.
Somebody suggested to me, I think it was Ashworth, suggested pretty much what you're implying in relation to Blanchard's career orientation, his motivations, that you think it's possible he could have staged something like that?
No, I don't think he'd had guts enough to try it. But I'll tell you what, if something came up, why, and somebody said something, why he would amplify it and he would claim something. But I don't know. It seems a little bit far-fetched to me, even from Butch.
Okay.
He didn't have the greatest imagination in the world, or he wouldn't have done some of the things he did.
Okay. Have you ever talked to anyone about, or has anybody ever talked to you about that Roswell thing, that mystery, whatever it was?
You mean the supposedly alien being?
Yeah, the supposedly.
No, nobody's talked to me. Oh, now wait a minute. I ran into a guy down here in Ohio that claimed that he was down at Circleville, who claimed that he was there, and he wrote a damn book. He gave me a copy of it, and I swear I thumbed through it, and it sounded so far-fetched to me. It was a paperback type thing, and I thought, you see, over the years, I've encountered so many people who wrote stuff hoping to make some money and wanted to put themselves in a position of being an expert on something that really I frown on all of that stuff, because there's no way that all of these people could have done all the things that they said they could do, or that they did, rather.
Okay. Did you recall back in 1947 that big flying saucer wave that swept across the United States? Do you recall that?
Oh, I remember when flying saucer, everybody saw flying saucers, yeah.
Everybody saw them. That's kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's just about pretty much sums up what I wanted to ask you. If I think of anything else I want to ask, can I call you again, or just leave you alone?
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
You milked me dry.
All right. Okay. Well, I just wanted to say that my dad was he was in World War II in the Marines, in the 4th Marines.
Yeah.
And he was at Iwo Jima and the Philippines and Marianas and.
He was out in the rough area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate this conversation very much, sir, and I hope you had a happy Easter.
Well, thank you.
And I hope everybody's well and the weather's good and all that stuff.
Well, you know, if my old brain had been like these modern computers, I'd have given you all those numbers that you wanted, and think nothing of it. But like I said, I had no interest in numbers in those days of those types of things that you ask about. Except my own airplane, there's no way I'd forget that one. But anyway, let's hope it works out and does what you want it to do.
Yes. See, again, I study a concept called synchronicity. It means meaningful coincidence.
Yeah.
Einstein coined that for Carl Jung, who was a protege of Sigmund Freud. And Carl Jung worked with Wolfgang Pauli, who was a protege of Einstein, and they thought, they were working on the processes of the mind, and they thought that the laws that govern consciousness has something to do with the same laws that govern the quantum mechanical effects in atoms. Yeah. And what I do is I look for coincidences which are meaningful in a historical context. Okay? And what I discovered in reference to that World War II, that history graph that I drew out for you, was that from the beginning of World War II, which was September 1st, 1939, to the dropping of the atomic bomb on August 6th and August 9th, 45, if that's about 5.936 years to August 9th, 45.
And then when you divide that number by an invariant called the golden section, which is 1.618, and the reciprocal is 0.618, it happens to be the same fissile fragments. I mean, it happens to be the same ratio. It's in the fissile fragments of uranium-235. Okay. Okay. Now, when you take that number of years, 5.936, and you divide that by 1.618 twice, or the square of 1.618 equals 2.617924. In other words, if you divide that time, 5.936, twice, you actually get December 7th, 1941, which is Pearl Harbor, and the day that Ernest Lawrence first generated U-235 on his Calutron. So that is a historical coincidence. I thought of a very interesting magnitude. So anyway, that's what I wrote in that letter, and I was kind of interested to see if you had an opinion about that. But, you know, a person has to have kind of a bent towards those kind of things in order to be interested, and if you're not interested, then that's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Take care.
You bet, and thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.